What if peace didn't come from having all the answers, but from simply having someone walk beside you? And what if the path you're on, even if uncertain, is exactly where you're meant to be? Hi, I'm Peter, and welcome back to Books for Thoughts, where we explore powerful ideas from quiet books that help us live, think, and feel a little better. One mindful moment at a time. Today's book isn't just read, it's felt. It's a story about two friends, a big panda and a tiny dragon, wandering through nature, through seasons, and through the tender ups and downs of being human. This is Big Panda and Tiny Dragon, a gentle illustrated journey by James Norbury, full of small questions that lead to big truths. The story opens in a misty forest. Tiny Dragon is lost in more ways than one. The fog has settled thick around him, and he doesn't know which direction to take. Then comes Big Panda, walking slowly, calmly, carrying tea. When Tiny Dragon says he's unsure of the way, Big Panda doesn't try to fix it. He simply says, sometimes not knowing where you're going is the best place to be. It's a subtle moment, but that's where this book lives, in the gentle space between fear and comfort, between needing answers and accepting the unknown. The fog in the forest becomes a metaphor for anxiety, confusion, self-doubt. But the book doesn't shout advice. It walks beside you. And in that companionship, you begin to breathe easier. As the journey continues, so does the conversation. They talk about mistakes, regrets, rest, and wonder. Tiny Dragon worries he hasn't achieved enough. Big Panda reminds him, you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. There's a page where they sit beneath a tree watching the leaves fall. Tiny Dragon asks, do you think the tree worries when its leaves fall? Big Panda smiles, knows they'll grow again. This is the rhythm of the book. Simple questions met with patient, thoughtful replies. It's like taking a slow walk with a wise friend who's not trying to change you, just remind you of what you've forgotten. Every exchange feels like a gentle pause, a breath, a sip of warm tea for the soul. One of the deepest themes in Big Panda and Tiny Dragon is the idea that you are already enough. There's a scene where Tiny Dragon is frustrated, feeling like he should be somewhere else in life, and Big Panda tells him, where you are now is exactly where you need to be. In a world that constantly asks us to do more, be more, become more, this message lands like a soft but steady drumbeat in your chest. The characters don't rush. They don't strive. They walk. They notice. They wonder. And in doing so, they model a kind of mindfulness that's more powerful than any to-do list. It's not laziness. It's presence. And it teaches us that maybe the most important part of life isn't reaching the next peak, but pausing to appreciate the view from where you are. Of course, the seasons change, and so do moods. There's a storm. Tiny Dragon gets discouraged. He says, everything feels heavy today. And Big Panda doesn't offer a fix. He simply says, then let's rest. We can try again tomorrow. It's such a powerful, compassionate moment because it honors sadness without turning it into a problem. It tells the truth we often forget, that not every day has to be productive and that healing isn't always loud. Sometimes sitting quietly beside someone is the most loving thing we can do. Big Panda is that presence, steady, kind, undemanding, a reminder that wisdom can be soft and strength can be still. As the friends walk through forest and field, the seasons begin to shift, from misty spring to golden fall, and eventually to quiet winter. But this isn't just a change in scenery. It's symbolic of the inner seasons we all go through. Growth, loss, letting go, and stillness. Tiny Dragon worries that winter means failure. He's not blooming, not building, not moving. But Big Panda gently reminds him, winter isn't the end. it's preparation. This idea reappears often in the book, that rest isn't wasted time, that reflection is a form of growth, and that even silence has something to say. The changing landscapes reflect the rhythm of real life. We don't bloom every day. Sometimes we hibernate. Sometimes we ache. Sometimes we wait, and that's okay. One recurring theme in Big Panda and Tiny Dragon is that we don't need to know everything to move forward. There's a point where Tiny Dragon says, I feel like I should have everything figured out by now. And Big Panda replies, you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. That reassurance that you're not late for your own life is something many of us need to hear more often. The book never pretends that life is simple, but it reminds us that our pace is our own, and that clarity often comes after the fog. They don't rush, they pause, they get lost. They sit by rivers, drink tea, and let the next step reveal itself. In this way, Big Panda and Tiny Dragon becomes more than a story. It becomes a practice, a slow return to trust. At several points in the book, Tiny Dragon wonders if life has passed him by. He sees others doing big things, achieving, conquering, moving fast. But Big Panda, always grounded, always kind, points to the quiet miracles instead. The sound of the wind through trees, the warmth of tea shared with a friend, the softness of moss under your feet. You don't have to be extraordinary, Big Panda says. Ordinary is enough, if you're awake to it. This perhaps is the deepest wisdom in the book, that life's meaning doesn't have to be grand or loud. It can be small, sincere, and still powerful. Joy isn't a reward, it's a rhythm, one that returns when we learn to notice. By the end of the book, the friends have made a full circle through the seasons, both around them and within them. They sit again by the water. It's quiet. Tiny Dragon looks at Big Panda and says, thank you for walking with me. Big Panda smiles. You never had to walk alone. There's no grand revelation, no dramatic twist, just two friends who've learned that walking together through fog and sun and snow is the journey. And maybe that's the point. Life isn't something to figure out. It's something to walk through with presence, kindness, and a bit of tea along the way. Big Panda and Tiny Dragon is the kind of book you don't just read once. You return to it when you're tired, when you're lost, when you need a quiet voice to remind you you're doing okay. Its pages are filled with gentle nudges, reminding us that rest is sacred, that growth isn't linear, and that peace often looks like doing less, not more. If you've ever felt behind, if you've ever wondered whether you're enough, or if you've just wanted a companion to walk beside you for a little while, this book is for you. And if it meant something to you today, I encourage you to pick up a copy of Big Panda and Tiny Dragon and let it live in your hands, not just your ears. And if you enjoy poetic, mindful books that speak softly but deeply, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Books for Thoughts, where we share 10-minute breakdowns to help you slow down, breathe deeper, and walk a little lighter. Until next time, stay kind, stay present, and remember, not all those who wander are lost. Some are simply walking home.